read the paper. Howard School, named after General Howard, who was the head of the Freedmen's Bureau, founded in the 1860s. And he was, I think it was Secretary of State Seward came to him and said, here's your office, and gave him a file box. You know, and that was kind of indicative of what it would be. But the Freedmen's Bureau sent teachers to the South, sent all sorts of stuff, built schools, was very active for about 20 years. And Howard School itself is worth a walking tour. I mean, worth just some time sitting and thinking. It's a great place, but it's got a phenomenal history, a leadership history in the city, and it's been through its own changes. Almost got closed, was in danger of being closed a few years ago, and the community rose up and said, you can't do that. I mean, it's a symbol as well as a school. Mary Walker Towers across the street is mainly senior housing. They've done some neat stuff with community gardens, interesting community there. But we'll spend more time on Howard at some point. The Freedmen's Bureau, again, is one of those agencies that was incredibly active in Chattanooga, and now you don't read about much anymore. We don't study that much at school. We just say Reconstruction, okay, that didn't work, and then boom, right into Jim Crow. This used to be another public housing unit, Haas Homes. Folks, I mean, places were getting old, but we're dealing with those issues now. You know, they're talking about closing, I believe it's Harriet Tubman. Where will everybody go? Just a question, but it's a good one, I think. One of the first unions, the first African-American union in the country, formed in 1925 by a man named A. Phillips Randolph, was the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, the Pullman Porters. A. Phillips Randolph was somebody who had phenomenal political power, but that was one place on the trains, and when the Chattanooga Choo-Choo rolled in here to track 29 or whatever it was, the Chattanooga Choo-Choo and the others, they had sleeping cars. The attendants were all African Americans, and they were treated phenomenally rough, phenomenally bad for the most part. I mean, phenomenally bad in terms of race, and also just worked hard by the railroads. They gradually put this group together, and it was the first, not only the first union, it was the first union in the American Federation of Labor. The AFL-CIO was the first union that joined that, but it was also the first time that African Americans in general had been able to negotiate and win a contract with a company. And so and I'm forgetting which railroad it was, it may have been the Southern, I'm not sure, they've all changed names, I need to look that up. But the Brotherhood of Railroad Porters, very, very successful, kind of quiet. A. Phillips Randolph was a little more conservative. So when the Civil Rights Movement came around, you know, he came on board, but he needed to, you know, he always was very deliberative on stuff, but very, very, very strong political presence, and worked with the presidents and was able to make some things happen. And so the first union, one of the first successful unions in Chattanooga would be every time a train pulled up at the Chattanooga Choo-Choo, you had a union worker get out. That was important.